Hey, how's it going, guys, and welcome back to another Cassette Beasts beginner guide. This time we're going to be discussing the fusion system present within the game, which is something we've known about since the initial reveal back in 2020, and we even tried the fusion demo on the Cassette Beasts website way back in the day if you wanted to check that video out. But anyways, today is going to be a quick and simple guide as to what fusion is in the Cassette Beasts world, how it works, and what some of the pros and cons are to consider. Make sure you let me know in the comments if you'd like me to follow this video up in the future with a more advanced fusion guide as well, since 14,000 potential combinations is a little bit crazy. But anyways, that being said, make sure to sit back, relax, and let's dive in. Okay, so what is fusion in Cassette Beasts? Well, basically it's described by the developers as a temporary evolution of sorts that takes place in the midst of battle. Just like you'd expect, fusion occurs when both of your monsters fuse into one more powerful monster. Now, fusion comes with it some important pieces of information to consider. Firstly, every monster in this game is monotyped, and I'm assuming one of the main reasons for this is because when they fuse together, they become dual type. The fusions themselves are not the same like we see in a lot of monster taming games where maybe there's different fusion forms and certain aspects of those fusions are taken into consideration. No, Cassette Beasts runs on a fully functional algorithm that actually fuses them via AI. Now, putting aside how cool that is, there is over 14,000 combinations as I've stated previously. However, if you watched my bootleg video that me and my buddy Barry Bandit put together before the game's launch, you'll know that the game actually does also have its own version of shinies that have completely randomized types and movesets. Just adding all of those combinations into the mix actually brings it closer to 3 million combinations. Now, that being said, it's not like you're going to have to memorize all 3 million fusion combinations in order to know what's going on. There are some pretty simple rules to follow that'll give you an idea of how fusion works and what you'll kind of want to look out for. Firstly, like I said, it'll inherit both types from your monsters, so all fusions are dual type. Then it'll also inherit both movesets and certain typeless attacks, which, if you don't know, become the type of your monster. Those will become dual typed since you're dual typed, so you'll actually have dual effect on certain things. Even the stats, they'll combine together as well. On top of this, and this is diving a little bit into the AP system, which I do plan on covering in a separate video, but you'll receive both monsters' AP regeneration, meaning that you'll be gaining the ability to use your stronger attacks much sooner, since monsters recover 2 per turn, as opposed to fusions that recover 4. The bonding mechanic, which again, topic for another video, will also influence your fusion with the relationship of you and the various companion characters, affecting the strength of the fusion itself. Leveling this up will also allow you to use fusion power, which is the strongest fusion move in the game. In order to access fusion, all you have to do is build the fusion meter up as you take damage in battle. If you'd like to express this process, you can actually damage your own cassettes on purpose in order to make it grow faster. And this does run concurrent through multiple battles, so you can kind of build it up in preparation for a boss battle. That way you can use it right away. But basically, once that fusion meter is filled up, it'll have an option at the end of your cassette player to select fusion, and bam, you'll just fuse right there. Now, that being said, there are some downsides to consider when it comes to fusion. The first being the fact that despite you gaining the ability to use more powerful moves early on, you're still putting yourself in a 1 versus 2 scenario. And while sure the stats combine, having 2 separate attacks hitting you each turn could give the enemy an advantage during certain tactical situations. Also, depending on the type matchup, you might also be giving yourself a very disadvantageous dual typing, but again, this could also be a benefit just based on the type matchup in that specific situation. You can also unfuse during combat, so there is always that option if you feel like you've put yourself in a sticky situation anyways, but it's still important to note. All in all, I think the fusion system in Cassette Beasts is a really cool mechanic, and I love how they're able to create these thousands of monster combinations utilizing an algorithm that realistically makes fusion feel like something with infinite possibilities. Do yourself a favor and experiment with the fusion mechanic within the game. You do get access to it for the first time very early on, and while I haven't beaten the game as of the time I'm putting this video together, I'm like 20 episodes in though, I do hope that fusion will have some sort of endgame story implications as well. But yeah, all that being said, if you do want more Cassette Beast guides, definitely subscribe to the channel. We're putting out daily monster taming videos and really focusing on Cassette Beasts. Right now, we're going with the early entry level stuff, like we did with tips and tricks, explaining these basic systems. Then we're going to dive into the more intricate stuff, various location guides, stuff like that too. So stay tuned, and if you did enjoy the video, definitely make sure to like and subscribe. You can check out my Twitter, Discord, and Patreon linked below. Special thanks to our patrons, especially Jim Hamilton, Drove Ghost, Dark Persona, Exodus, and Kenny Morency. And we'll see you next time. Peace.